Just got to see how it glides. I think is the big test. What's good, everyone? Oakley here of Infinite Disc, and I'm out here to build my bag. When I am looking at building my bag, and especially on the putting portion, I'm generally looking for a beadless putter. I do have some beaded putters in here because they are some of the best putters on the lineup, and I really wanted to make sure I gave those at least a try, even though I'm gonna be leaning more on the beadless side. So let's dive right in. A couple putters to talk about. We have two from MVP. We have the Envy and the Nomad. Should be really nice. One's beaded, one's beadless. You know, and if James Conrad is hyping these up, makes sense. Fun one is the Manu from XCOM. Beadless, feels super glidey. When I tested it out the other day, it was very, very glidey. Kind of feels like if you're a traditional AVR thrower, you might really like how that feels. I have the EV7 Penrose, really nice. This is one of those that has a bead that I wasn't sure about, but it's a great feel. And watching Drew jam some putts, if you watch the Disc Golf Pro Tour Finals, this was good. I have the EV7 Fee 5 Faux Fum. Beaded or beadless, feels pretty solid. A little more rounded on the edge, so I'm excited to see how that comes out of my hand a little bit. I got a Wizard. I feel like I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't pull a Gateway Wizard. This is probably one of the, I don't know, most known putters out there. So definitely have to give it a try, see what I think of it, see if it works for me. I got probably my front runner and the Alpaca. These are the P blends, beadless. Really comfortable feel. If you're a fan of the P2, you're gonna love the Alpaca. The Hunter, yesterday this disc was probably the most surprising, and but I'm excited to really kind of see how it handles no wind and if it still holds up as good as it did the other day. I have the Thought Space Muse. This feels very similar to the Fee or Phi or Faux Fum, but feels very similar but has a more flat top. So this has a good beadless feel, should have some nice glide on it. And I got a Discmania reinvented P2. I mean, watching Eagle jam putts with these, and when I watched him putt with, you know, putters that were similar to the Alpaca, it's a no-brainer. And I used to putt P2s in my time with Discmania, so it was always something I really liked, and it was, you know, one of the first putters I really jived with. So excited to give this one a test amongst them all. Let's go jam session right now. Starting off, Discmania P2. The one part about the P2, especially this reinvented one, the Swedish side of things, it just comes out really clean. And it's got a textured top, or at least this blend does, so it has a nice grip to it. Ooh, left side catch. I think the one part about the P2 that you'll notice is that it is overstable for a putter, but when you're inside the circle, you don't really see that stability. You'll start to see that stability when you go outside the circle. P2's got a really good option of making my bag. That's also really clean. Again, I think that's the part of why I like a beadless putter, is it's always on that clean release. This is a little more shallow though, because it feels faster. Yeah. And just jam it. Yeah, I think the one part that leans me away from the Envy has got to be just the shape of it. It's a little too shallow for my liking. I want something with a little more depth. But if you are interested in a nice beadless feel, Envy's gonna be good. Let's keep it in the MVP family. Let's try the Nomad. This one's deeper. And it's got a little bit of a bead. Same thing, clean release. This one definitely feels a little more bulky, if that makes sense. So it feels like I have to kind of putt it a little bit harder, which isn't that bad. I can see why James likes this. Again, I think it comes down to, it's just all in the feel. The moment I put it in my hand, I'm not in love with it, but if you are a beaded putter, I think you're really gonna like the Nomad. All right, so we're on to the ThoughtSpace Muse. This one's got a little more round shape, especially on the bottom. I hit another one before I give my thoughts. All in all, I think the flat top makes it feel really comfortable and doesn't make it feel too deep. But I think it's more about this rounded edge. You have to love that. And if you do love that, then this is like a really, really good option for you. Yeah, I think for me, it just comes down to, I don't love that curve. I think why I like a P2 or an Alpaca is because it is more flat edge. But this is a really good disc. Yeah, it's not gonna make it, but feels good. We got the Hunter. This is a kind of like feels very similar to a P2 or an Alpaca, but is much more shallow. It's got that flat edge that I like. It's just a clean release, like every time. Feels really good. So no nonsense putter. It's got good glide. Yeah, Hunter's really good. This definitely has a really good option to making my bag. I want to see it on some long distance putts because who knows, maybe I have, you know, I end up with some Alpacas for my circle one and then really long, like 60 footers. I might be trying out the Hunter. We'll see. Kind of all depends. This one's definitely in the running. All right, we'll go to the Penrose EV7. I think it's the bead. I think that's all it is. Feels really good, but it's just the bead. It's like almost like a P2, but then it just goes P2 bead. It's like, okay. Because the shape of it. Putt's nice though. Again, just want that Alpaca shape.
So Eric, tell the viewers at home what it is about a bead you don't like. But tell it right there.
So for me, the bead has never been something I've really been a fan of. I mean, putters that I've used in the past, Polecat, AVR, P2, Warden, Guard, Marshall, you can say kind of has a micro bead, and then I ended up using the Faith, and it just, nothing has a bead. So when it's on there, I feel like, it almost feels like whenever your putter gets a nick, and so there's something there and you're like, and I can't find that sweet spot of where I want to be putting from. But the EV7 is great. I mean, the EV7 Penrose is great. It's a really good putter. It's just not for me. You have to love the feel of a putter. If you don't love the feel, you're not going to putt that well. So I think that's the biggest part. Is feel is huge, and then after that, you know, it's got to actually putt well. So I mean, those are the two steps you have to kind of go through when choosing a putter. Let's try out the Wizard. pushing it. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Putt's great, but I'm not loving the feel.
The Wizard beaded or beadless?
The Wizard has a nice big bead on it. I know that there are other ones, other gateway putters that are beadless, but I had to, you know, go with the Wizard. Got the fee. This one's deep, kind of shaped, kind of similar to the Muse, like I said, but this has a much more rounded top in comparison. This one has a more rounded top. As you can see, the Muse kind of comes real flat across the top, but it feels good in the hand. It's deep, but again, it has that rounded edge. This is not as puffed out as the Muse, but it still feels more round. It's on to the Banu. It's like the AVR feeling XCOM putter. So floaty. Like, super floaty. Like, I feel like I barely have to putt it. It just, like, it feels like it stays in the air. Effortless, really nice. I don't know. Again, it might be just a little shallow. It's a little bit deeper than the Hunter. Not as deep as an Alpaca or P2. But glides forever. It could be really good on some longer putts. Definitely gonna give that one a couple more putts. On to one of my favorites, the Alpaca. This is the front runner of putters that are gonna make my bag, especially for inside the circle. Really good. Primo. For me, the Alpaca is probably the best feeling. In the P blend plastic, it's a little slick, but what I've noticed is as I've continued to use them, they're getting grippier, and that's a good thing. So they get better with age. It's like a fine wine. I don't really drink wine, but if I did, this would be from a long time ago. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I don't know how wine works. All right, we're out here. This is just outside of 40 feet. We're gonna see, you know, just no jump, kind of spin them out there and see how they fly. We're gonna start off with this Banu. This one has mega glide. It's really good. All right, P2. See the stability kicking in right at the end there. All right, Hunter. Not surprised. Thing's putting great. Alpaca. Swing batter. That was not a good putt. That was definitely me. All right, this is what I was really excited to try this one out for. I think that rim doesn't do it for me. One more Alpaca, for good measure. That's why I like the Alpaca. The first one was, it's fine, don't worry about it. That one was money. That's what I like. All right, we're gonna run him back one more time, give him another feel, and give you a little bit of a reason why and why not I might be liking him. I think that one is just, I don't feel comfortable with the rounded edge. If there's something about that kind of more flat edge that I have that cleaner release where I'm not sure when I'm gonna release that one. But it feels really good and comes out clean, I'm just not confident in it. And that's important. Putting is about confidence, so. It's not the putter, it's me. So, that's fair. Dang. Playing for that swing. I didn't really get it, so definitely the Banu is so straight where you're not gonna get a whole lot of pull at the end like you would with a P2 alpaca. So yeah, it's all right. Not always good from 40. Here you go, P2. That's why I like the alpaca in P2, is when I get it up enough, I know I can trust it just on the right side of the basket, especially on these longer putts. It pulls itself kind of closer to center or finds that sweet spot on the right side. Crawl your way in, alpaca, let's go, baby, we take those. Yeah, I mean, I think on these longer putts, I really like playing that kind of more arcing type of putt where the straight at it doesn't feel as confident. I'm definitely gonna be putting in more time with the Hunter to complement and try for some longer range putts, because that first one I hit with it felt super good. The Banu, I don't think I like because it feels too glidey to where if I miss, I could end up with some longer comeback putts. But if you are looking for a glidey putter, the Banu is awesome. Fee is awesome if you like that more rounded feel. And I mean, the P2 and alpaca feel pretty solid, so it's kind of more plastic based on which you like the most. And personally, I like the P blend alpacas. Comes out clean. All I gotta do is get a nice little tack on my fingers and I know that that thing is coming out absolutely money. So I think alpacas are taking the cake. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is one of the first portions of my Building the Bag series. We got putting putters, throwing putters, we got it all going. P-blend alpacas are definitely gonna be the ones that I'm gonna be jamming on. The Protege Edition Hunter is probably the most surprising. It was also in the field, so it's super, super fun as a disc. I'm excited to put more reps in with this one to complement the alpacas, but maybe once I get an alpaca that's super seasoned in, I could see the Hunter maybe slotting out of the bag just so I have that consistent release. But super excited, ready to jam some putts, and it's just gonna have an amazing time. If you guys are looking to pick some of these up, make sure you guys go to infinitedisc.com. You get to throw what you love. That's the best part about it, and it's what I get to do now, so it's pretty dope. And also, whalesacks.com. You can grab some of these EO whale sacks, use Killer Whale Oakley as the code, and they'll probably be listed somewhere in the links down below. Yeah, thank you everyone. Let's go have some jam sessions this year.